quite know who we are. It isn't, of course, that we can't remember the basics of our biographies. We're unsure around two things in particular. Firstly, we don't have a stable sense of what we're worth. And secondly, we don't have a secure hold on our own values or judgments. Without knowing who we are, we tend to have particular trouble coping with either denigration or adulation. If other people decide that we are worthless or bad, there will be nothing inside us to prevent us from swallowing their verdicts in their entirety, however wrong-headed, extreme, or unkind these might be. We'll be helpless before the court of public opinion. We'll always be asking other people what we deserve before seeking inside for an answer. Lacking an independent verdict, we also stand to be unnaturally hungry for external praise. The clapping of an audience will matter to us far more than would ever be wise. We'll be prey to rushing towards whatever idea or activity the crowd happens to love. We'll laugh at jokes that aren't funny, uncritically accept undeserving concepts that are in vogue, and neglect our truer talents for easy, popular wins. We'll trail public opinion slavishly, constantly checking the world's whims rather than consulting an inner barometer in order to know what we should want, feel, and value. We need to be kind on ourselves. No one is born with an independent ability to know who they are. We learn to have an identity because, if we're blessed, in our early years, someone else takes the trouble to study us with immense fairness, attention, and kindness, and then plays us back to us in a way that makes sense and that we can later emulate. They give us the beginning of a true portrait of our identity, which we can then take on and enrich over the years and use as a defense against the distorting verdicts from hurried or ill-intentioned others. Knowing who one is...
But that's not the real you. You have a picture of yourself in your mind. Do you know Dr. Maxwell Maltz wrote a book back around 1960. It was called Self-Image Psychology. Psycho-Cybernetics. It's a phenomenal book. He said it was the greatest discovery of his generation. He was a cosmetic or reconstructive surgeon, and he found he would do work on people. He might have done a nose job or removed a terrible scar. And he noticed that when he did that, there was a phenomenal change in their personality. But he noticed with others, he would make a phenomenal physical change and there was no change in their personality. And that led him to postulate that we have two images. We have the one that's coming back from the mirror. We've got an inner image. And that inner self-image is literally controlling our life. You will find people that have a very poor self-image or low self-esteem. They won't look you straight in the eye. They're afraid to shake hands with you. They're very shy and withdrawn. They go through life hiding from life. They don't like themselves. They don't know themselves. Do you know when a person improves their self-image, they change their entire life. Their income changes, their relationship changes, their health changes. And do you know how you do that? Start studying you. Start to find out more about you. There's something phenomenal about you. Do you see?
So a man's sitting at the kitchen table, having a morning cup of coffee, reading the paper, when his son comes sprinting down the stairs, all amped up, ready to go out and play. Last night, the man promised him that they'd spend the day together, so he blocked off his whole day, ready to spend some quality time with his son. But he could use just a few more minutes, right? Reading the paper, just kind of finishing up his morning routine. So he has this idea to buy himself a little time. Less than 3 minutes go by. His son excitedly pulls down his dad's newspaper, says, "Dad, I'm done." And the father looks up with an expression of amazement on his face. Right, astonished his son was able to do that so quickly. Obviously, he asks him how. And his son explained that a piece of paper fell on the floor. And when he bent over to pick it up, he could see through the bottom of the glass table that there was a picture of a man on the back of all the little pieces. So often, we think of the world as the rule book, the decider of fate. We don't think of ourselves as that vehicle to success. And this story has a very unique way of uncovering that specific truth. Obviously, he asks him how. and his son explained that a piece of paper fell on the floor. And when he bent over to pick it up, he could see through the bottom of the glass table that there was a picture of a man on the back of all the little pieces. So he sat up, turned all the pieces over, and he put the man together. The world just fell into place. As soon as I read that, my mind went right to that long road, that journey to success. So often, we think of the world as the rule book, the decider of fate. We don't think of ourselves as that vehicle to success. And this story has a very unique way of uncovering that specific truth. We get from the world what we invest in ourselves. Right? The patient.
Hi, I'm Eliza Jesusa Fornelius Lienas. For Kant, we are the ones who construct ourselves. We are the ones who decide what our goal will be in life. Where does the order and the organization of the world came from? According to Kant, it comes in a large measure from us. Our minds actively sort, organize, relate, and synthesize the fragmented, fluctuating collection of sense data that our sense organs take in. For example, imagine that someone dumped a pile of puzzle pieces on the table in front of you. They would initially appear to be a random collection of items, unrelated to one another and containing no meaning for you, much like the basic sensation of immediate unreflective experience.
Hi, my name is Patricia Iluna. According to Kant, the journey of self-improvement is an ongoing process of context learning. It gives you the opportunity to evaluate your strengths and weaknesses and to work on them. The benefits are that you grow a person while
So according to Immanuel Kant, there is constructed ourselves. We have two images of ourselves. So we notice that when a person improves their self-image, they change their entire life. Their income change, their relation change, their health change. And do you know how to do that? Start to improve yourself. Find more about you, because there's something phenomenal about you. When you start to study yourself, everything in your life starts to improve. When you start to understand really who you are the luckiest person in the world.
How well do you really know yourself? We are all aware of the things that society wants us to do. Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the projection of who we are. According to Immanuel Kant, we all have an inner and outer self, which together form our consciousness. The inner self is comprised of our psychological state and our rational intellect. The outer self includes our sense and the physical world. Without knowing who we are, we tend to have particular trouble coping with either indignation or adulation. If others decided that we are worthless or bad, there will be nothing inside us to prevent us from swallowing their verdicts in their entirety. However, wrong-headed, extreme, or unkindly, we will be helpless before that public opinion. We'll always be asking others that we deserve before seeking inside for an answer. So if you don't know yourself very well, it's difficult to choose a life path that makes you feel happy and fulfilled.